Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Nick. Oh, that's not me. And today I'm sharing what I recently learned about Japanese dining and the difference between kaiseki and omakase styles of dining, plus my experience at the fanciest restaurant in Astoria, Queens, Koyo. Very subtle entrance, blink, and you might miss it. Kōyō is in the neighborhood of Astoria, which, if you don't know, is part of the borough of Queens in the northeast part of New York City. The restaurant's on 31st Avenue between 37th and 38th Streets, just west of Steinway Street. Again, from the outside, it's pretty easy to miss, but hidden behind that plain brick wall and that moving van is a nice little gem. A lot of Astoria and New York restaurants look like this. You never know what was inside unless you actually win. Their website says Koyo means autumnal foliage, and the change of seasons inspires the menu, which switches out every 3 months. They mention the cooking style follows the progression of a traditional kaiseki served in an omakase format here, but we'll get to a little bit more about that in a second. I also want to mention the chef, Jay Jung, who spent much of his childhood in rural China without minimal essentials, including refrigeration. So, shopping every day at the market with his mom taught him the value of fresh, farm to table ingredients prepared with love. Of course, after coming to the US and getting an early start in restaurants, his career progressed in restaurants in several states. He worked his way through fine dining, got inspired, and everything has led him to this, his most recent endeavor, Koyo. Let's have a look through the restaurant, starting with the back patio because that's where I started filming. We were here when the health inspector made a surprise visit and sat right here to the left. I'm going to guess they did great. This back patio is where the a la carte menu is served. It's a beautiful space, and I'm kind of surprised there weren't more people here on a Friday night. Beautiful bathroom, warm towels, a fancy toilet, and a fountain that makes more sound than you could have. Such privacy. Coming in from the patio, these are the tables here to the right where the omakase is served. Here to the left is the non-sushi making part of the kitchen. A little further back is the sushi bar. I'm not sure if these seats are a la carte, but the omakase reservations are really limited, so probably. Super sleek, minimal decor, which looks great, but every surface is hard, which leads to my one complaint, which is that it's really loud inside. This is the entrance, and look what we have, a Michelin plate recognition. You've heard of Michelin stars? Well, Travel and Leisure kind of rudely tells us a Michelin plate is the least prestigious category of recognition, but that the Michelin plate indicates restaurants where the inspectors have discovered quality food. That said, I wouldn't have been surprised if someone told me Kolyo had at least one Michelin star. Wow. Oh, wait, wait, come back. Did you know that Koyo is on Seated? I don't know if you know about Seated. It's an app that I really like. This isn't even sponsored. This is just a good tip from me to you. It's in New York, Dallas, Boston, Atlanta, Chicago, Philadelphia. Hopefully coming to your city if it isn't already there. But all you got to do is look on the map or just search the restaurant you want, and then you make a reservation through the Seated app. They send the request to the restaurant, and it's all set up for you that way. Sometimes they just have walk-ins. You don't have to make a reservation. You get a confirmation and then you're good to go. You can look at the directions, the menu, whatever. Once that's ready, all you do is you go to the restaurant, you have your reservation, you eat, you send in the receipt, and they give you rewards back to places like Starbucks, Uber, Amazon. I mean, these are places that you are guaranteed to shop at. These are the ones that I spend the most at. But your balance increases so quick. These are a couple that I've gone to. But look at the store. You have Airbnb, you have Sephora, Nike, and it's just free money essentially to spend at these places that you are Delta. I mean, you can fly that you're like guaranteed. Also, experiences. I haven't used that, but I don't know. It seems cool. You just upload a receipt, hit that big yellow button, super easy to do, and you get cash back to all these places. I will include a link in the description, and you get a little bonus if you sign up. Here's a quick look at the a la carte menu, which is obviously separate from the tasting menu. And I'll take you through that meal which we had, which is described as a kaiseki inspired omakase. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about what is meant by each of those two words. So this food article from Foodicals, clever portmanteau, literally asks the question omakase versus kaiseki, what's the difference? Luckily, they answer the question. There are words often heard in Japan, but outside the country, they're often used incorrectly or even interchanged. But each does have its own specific meaning when it comes to food. Omakase is a shortening of the phrase omakase shimasu, meaning I trust you, chef. It's unique in that it doesn't have a price on the menu, and pretty much just the chef just serves up what's best that day at market price. And if you're happy, he just keeps going until you beg him to stop feeding you. Alternatively, kaiseki is fine dining. It's a set number of courses demonstrating the chef's skill and made from premium seasonal ingredients. A traditional kaiseki has 9 courses, but that of course varies. Here you might recognize some of the courses that appear on Kōyō's menu. So, applying this knowledge, which I literally just learned, this menu has elements of both, especially in the final courses where the chef selected ingredients for the sushi, the hand roll, and the sweets. Each of those, it was a real surprise when it came. You can also see the uni tasting menu supplement course on the left, which is at market price. But there are also kaiseki elements. It's a set number of courses, there's a set price, and many, if not all of these courses are traditionally seen on a kaiseki menu. We are indeed not in Japan, and the restaurant has used both terms, and given my otherwise completely limited knowledge of the topic, I'm going to say checks out. Okay, mealtime, starting with our first bottle. This is a Dewazakura Tobiroku Ginjo Sparkling Festival of Stars Sake. It's delicious. It drinks like a really dry champagne, but it actually sweetened a little as it warmed, and it was great with the first few courses. This is the amuse bouche coming up, and I'll let our server describe it.
There will be an egg in there. There's no egg. It's just an eggshell filled with truffle yam or Japanese sweet potato. It's going to be topped with ikura or salmon roll, then topped with Hokkaido uni, sea urchin, and then topped with peppers. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Smash cut to halfway through. You can see the roe melding with the yam and uni. It's smoky, beautifully balanced, and a great start. Matter of fact, I'm just going to let the server describe the rest of these, so I'll try to subtitle it. All right.
The second course, which is called the mokuzoku course, which is your sashimi course. So you have a smoked katsuo, which is a skipjack tuna. It's going to be lightly seared. Underneath will be mozuku or seaweed from Okinawa. It's going to be finished in a ginger ponzu sauce. And it's going to be topped with shaved bonito, which is the same fish as the sashimi. So it's a katsuo, a skipjack tuna. It's just going to have been sun-dried and then topped with rice. Enjoy.
This was when I first made the face. It was so good. Tender sashimi, savory bonito, subtle ginger. It was perfectly balanced. I could eat this all day.
Your yakimono course as your third real course of the season, served with our Miyazaki A5 Wagyu, finished up beef stock charcoal. Certain ingredients will be our dirty egg yolk sauce, and on top will be our baby corn, brushed with a little bit of miso butter.
He's never had wagyu before.
Oh, Remy, I never had wagyu before. Leave me alone. But it is something else. The beef is tender. The baby corns provide this like tiny bit of texture and sweetness. The egg yolks make everything better. My only complaint about this one was that the fat was a tiny bit chewy, but I've never had wagyu before, like I said, so it is supposed to be like that? Maybe, I don't know.
So we have your gohan course, which is your rice course. So on the bottom you have a scallop, shiso, and shiitake mushroom rice. There's going to be some black truffle in there from Australia. It's going to be topped with grilled Suzuki or sea perch. Enjoy.
Thank you. I love mushrooms.
This one tasted the most like home cooking. It was savory, it was tender, sort of melt in your mouth, fresh. I mean, I could eat a whole entire bowl of this. This camera work is the worst. Anyway, let's keep drinking. This is bottle number 2, the Dewazakura de Wasan Sanjunmai Ginjo Green Ridge Sake. Camera work's not going to get any better, but this is great. Floral, fruity, lots of apple, a little acidic. I thought it was amazing.
So the first piece is going to be your shima aji. This is your striped jab. It's going to be topped with a little bit of seasoned chive paste. Second piece is going to be your usaki, also known as your 3-line grunt, sometimes known as a chicken grunt. It's going to be topped with a little bit of lime zest. Your third piece is your zuke akami. This is your soy marinated bluefin tuna. This is the leanest part of the bluefin tuna. It's going to be from Spain. And then your last piece is your katsugodai, or your baby seafood. It's going to be topped with a little bit of yuzu kofu. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Mahata, which is your pounded grouper. It's also like a black grouper. Okay. Your second will be your otoro. So this is the same tuna as the first course from Spain. It's the fattiest part of it.
Okay.
Your third
The last one's the leanest part.
The leanest part is going to be the
fattiest.
It's going to be a little creamy.
Okay.
Your third piece will be your aji, which is your horse mackerel. It's going to be topped with a little bit of ginger chive paste.
Okay.
Your fourth piece is your scallop, your hotate. This is a scallop from Miyagi, Japan. And then lastly would be your Murasaki uni, uni. This is your purple uni, your sea urchin. Okay. Enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Best sushi I've ever had. No notes.
It's a glass. It's a glass.
It's tea.
Final course before your dessert. This is our tamaki course, also known as your hand roll. Served with our total tartare, bluefish, alongside Japanese pickled onions, classic Kaluga caviar on the first bite. Awesome.
Thank you.
This was really nice. They had the caviar on the first bite, which I ate in this one. Sorry, but it was well seasoned, tasty. I liked it.
So additional supplements for the evening are total toast, served on toasted milk bread. That's total tartare, shavings of black truffle. Also had uni from Hokkaido, Japan, finished off with classic Kaluga caviar.
So this is more tuna, more uni, more caviar, more money, but impeccably toasted milk bread. I'd say it was worth it.
Freshly made tamago yaki.
What is that?
It's custard.
This had a super smooth texture and a nicely caramelized bottom, which gave it an additional kind of crunchy texture. Interesting.
It's a hojicha gelato. So it's like a green tea gelato topped with some puffy rice.
Very light, a good palate cleanser with a few little crunchies for fun. And I love a cone.
Final bite for the evening. These are pavilion melons from Pavilion, France.
This was just a simple melon, but it was a really expensive, I think, and good one. It was really light, and it was a really good last bite of the meal. All right, so let's sum up this experience. Please accept this video of this horse that is not mine because I just don't feel like being on camera right now. But let's talk about it first. The food. The food was amazing. It was stellar. It was delicious. I mean, it's fresh ingredients, wonderfully thought out menu. Literally the best sushi that I've ever had. I mean, skillfully prepared. I would trust that chef to prepare me anything. It is definitely omakase in the truest sense of the word. Stellar service. It was perfectly paced. The sake consumption kept me at just the right buzz. I kept eating that ginger that's supposed to cleanse your palate in between sushi bites, and the server kept replacing it. Our water was never empty. It was definitely a fine dining level of service. I love that it's this little hidden gem in the neighborhood. I've walked by it lots of times, but I never really noticed it. So now I'm glad to know that it's there. The price point is pretty decent for fine dining. And like 2 weeks ago, I somehow spent that amount of money at a dive bar because New York is wild. But this, unlike that, is an experience I will definitely remember. And plus, it's unseated, so you can at least get some of the rewards back. That might just be for a la carte. I don't know, but it's still worth it. As far as cons go, it is hard to get a reservation because there's that limited window beforehand and not that many seats. I didn't have to make this one, thankfully, but that could definitely be a downside. My only real complaint is that it was just so noisy. You can kind of hear it in the video. I wish they just put in some cushions in the booth or some carpet on the floor or something on the walls just to absorb the noise a little bit. But hey, did you notice if I pronounced something incorrectly? Is my comparative analysis based off of one 200-word foodicle woefully inadequate? Please excoriate me with your constructive criticism in the comments. Compliments are okay too, but you know what to expect. Anyway, if you're watching, you're probably either from the restaurant's social media team or a personal friend or family member, so I have no shame in asking you to please like the video, subscribe to this channel. I think there's something to do with turning on notifications. I don't know, but these videos take so much time and it's so hard. So any support is greatly appreciated. All right, thanks for watching.